my favorite line in the video is when she applies for the director of the fashion industries, and she says, and my coworker said, Eleanor, how could you do that? And I said, well, I knew I wasn't qualified, but if I were qualified, what would be the challenge in that? I thought that was great. What would be the challenge in being totally qualified for a job?
Yeah. I would say Eleanor challenged old age.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
she did not have any problem being 100, being 101, 102, you know, and still getting around so well.
She loved music. She loved entertaining. She loved life. She loved living it. She loved making other people a part of it. She was an interesting person.
She was always delighted with things. Eleanor was delighted by life.
When I met Roger Blau, one of the things that came with him was the relationship with Eleanor Ahearn, because she had found a friend at the Blooming Grove Club. Eleanor lived at Hemlock. Found a friend in Helen Decker Blau.
And Helen and I just enjoyed each other. And she didn't drive really because he wouldn't allow her to.
Mm-hmm.
Things have changed.
Yes, so she was maybe 10, 20 years older than I. And we were very adventuresome. If she wanted to go to the seashore, we went to the seashore. We did everything.
What do you think contributed to her adventurous spirit?
My opinion is that it was her independent nature. She just took the bull by the horns and went and did things. She loved the arts. She'd drive into New York City by herself in her 80s to go to the opera and then drive home. And she was well-versed, because I remember being in her home and seeing the art on the walls and the books that she had. And she was very well-versed about everything and where she got it and why it was meaningful to her and things like that. She knew a lot.
I'd like to just mention that in your segment of In My Wildest Dreams, you mentioned that when you started out in the hospitality industry, there were not a lot of female role models.
No.
And yet, Eleanor Ahearn was a female executive in the 1950s, voted one of the most outstanding women in business in Chicago.
Yeah. You know what I learned from Eleanor? I learned that you should stay in touch with people you know. Staying in touch, letting them know you're thinking of them. She often did that. She would just call you out of the blue just to let you know she was thinking about you. And that always meant a lot. So I think that would be my biggest lesson from Eleanor, is stay in touch with your old friends.
And you could ask her to do something, even at 100. Would you do this? And she'd say yes. Try that on.
Well, how many people do you know who live to be 103 and are just on top of the game until then and have lived such a wonderful life? So to hear her life story could be an inspiration.